the humanoid robotics frenzy shows no signs of slowing down. The industry is compressing years of development into months as investors throw billions into physical AI. Two of Japan's largest automakers have just entered the humanoid race, with Mitsubishi backing a new bipedal factory worker and Toyota spinning years of robotics research into a brand new unicorn startup. Elsewhere, next-generation machines are taking on tasks previously considered too tough for automation. They're training to weld warships, assemble electric vehicles, and adapt on the job just like real people. The technology is accelerating faster than the industrial workforce, and regulators can adjust. The real disruption may arrive before anyone is ready for it. In Texas, the 2-year-old startup Persona AI is training its flagship heavy-duty humanoid for welding work at Shipyards. The Houston-based robotics firm just shared this footage from what it describes as a real welding test at an ARC Industries industrial fabrication shop. The Gen 1 humanoid is guided through teleoperation to collect real-world welding data to train its AI brain for future autonomous work. Persona is led by Nick Radford, the former lead of NASA's Valkyrie space humanoid program and founder of Nauticus Robotics, which makes autonomous underwater robots and control software. He launched the firm in 2024 with former Figure AI CTO Jerry Pratt and former Nauticus Engineering VP Jide Akinyode. The company has licensed dexterous hand technology from NASA that originated with the space agency's Robonaut 2, which became the first humanoid robot to reach the International Space Station in 2011. Radford served as chief engineer and deputy project manager for that project in collaboration with General Motors. The second-generation Robonaut's hand was far ahead of its time when it debuted in 2010. It packed human-like dexterity, force sensing, tendon-driven fingers, and 12 degrees of freedom into the end effector engineered to use ordinary human tools. Persona AI has secured deployments with HD Hyundai, which operates 5 major shipyards across South Korea, Vietnam, and the Philippines. Headquartered in Seongnam, South Korea, HD Hyundai builds cargo ships, tankers, gas carriers, and naval vessels for companies and governments worldwide. It supports the U.S. military through maintenance and repair for Navy ships. In 2025, it won a contract to overhaul the USNS Alan Shepard, a Navy cargo and ammunition ship. The work Persona is targeting requires mobility and flexibility that fixed welding robots on production lines can't provide. Shipbuilders are increasingly looking to automation as they say it's difficult to find humans willing to do the physically demanding and hazardous work. Robotics firms like Persona view the bipedal humanoids as ideal for the work because it requires walking across uneven floors, crouching, kneeling, reaching overhead, twisting the body, and holding welding tools steadily in tight spaces. The idea has been out of the question until recently, but rapid improvements in robotic locomotion, dexterity, durability, and artificial intelligence are making humanoid shipyard welders more practical. Beyond the welding itself, surviving the heat, sparks, smoke, dust, vibration, and rough shipyard terrain remains a major challenge. That's why Persona is working with Under Armour on protective performance gear for the harsh conditions. The startup is accelerating development with at least $27 million in funding raised to date. It's not alone in pursuing autonomous humanoid welding for heavy industry. The recently launched Italian firm, Generative Bionics, is also developing an industrial welder for shipyards. The IIT spinout has announced a partnership with the Italian shipbuilder Fincantieri on a 4-year project to develop the AI-powered robot to work alongside human workers. They expect to start on-site testing by the end of 2026 at a Genoa shipyard. Back in the US, the Ohio-based startup Path Robotics is developing a quadruped robot welder to help build next-gen warships. Saronic Technologies is piloting the robotic dog, named Rove, at a Louisiana shipyard where it's scaling production of autonomous naval vessels. The more robots take on welding jobs, the more pushback will likely grow over concerns about automation replacing workers. While critics agree there's a labor shortage, they argue it's because of low pay and weak benefits. In 2025 congressional testimony, experts said wages were the biggest obstacle in recruiting shipyard workers. Proponents of shipyard automation say better wages won't make up for an aging workforce and years of lost training capacity. Meanwhile, in Japan, Mitsubishi just became the latest automaker to enter the humanoid robotics race. The 56-year-old manufacturer just announced a partnership with Hylanders, a startup from the University of Tokyo, to develop and possibly mass-produce a robot named N. The bipedal robot stands 175 centimeters or 5 feet 9 inches and weighs around 75 kilos or 165 pounds. It has proprietary 5-fingered hands that can reportedly grip up to 3 kilos or 6.6 pounds. It perceives its surroundings with LiDAR, multiple vision systems, and a microphone array that feeds data in real time to its onboard NVIDIA Jetson Orin computer. Its artificial intelligence combines high-level planning with rapid reflexive control. Its battery life lags behind contemporaries like Atlas by Boston Dynamics and the Figure 3 at about 2 hours per charge. Its walking speed is also relatively slow at 3 kilometers or just under 2 miles per hour. However, Highlander says it's prioritizing reliability, tool use, and rapid data-driven iteration over raw specs. Mitsubishi plans to test the robots at its own factories before moving to mass production. In the US, another firm with roots in the Japanese automotive sector just exited stealth with $300 million in seed funding and a $1.1 billion valuation. MIT professor Russ Tedrake spun Walden Robotics out of the Toyota Research Institute in January 2026. They're commercializing the institute's breakthroughs in diffusion policies and large behavior models that powered the soft humanoid robot Punyo and helped accelerate the intelligence of Atlas from Boston Dynamics. Walden hasn't disclosed much about its general-purpose flagship robot, but the wheeled mobile manipulator looks like it's based off a design the Toyota Institute has been developing since at least 2023. The latest iteration features a more refined design compared to 3 years ago, but still emphasizes function over form. Walden says it's developing general-purpose robots that can deliver immediate value in manufacturing and logistics. Its first prototypes are already reportedly working at a major North American Toyota factory. The Boston area startup's backers include NVIDIA, Boeing, and Samsung Next. Another startup developing a wheeled industrial worker, South Korea's Holiday Robotics, just secured more than $100 million in what's being called the largest Series A raise in Korean history. Its flagship robot, named Friday, stands 175 centimeters or 5 feet 9 inches and weighs 115 kilos or 254 pounds. One of its standout features is its ultra-lightweight 20 degree of freedom hands that have full palm tactile sensors. The end effector weighs under 1 pound or 500 grams, yet is strong enough to lift 5 kilos or 11 pounds. The hand's sensors send real-time tactile feedback nearly 2,000 times per second, so it can grip delicate and oddly shaped objects without crushing or dropping them. According to Holiday, the hand is also softer and more flexible than typical industrial end effectors, so they're safer to work alongside people. The robot also has exceptional dexterity for the form factor, with a reported 63 degrees of freedom. Like China's Ubitech Walker S2, Friday can swap out its own battery for around-the-clock work. Holiday plans to manufacture around 100 units by the end of 2026 and scale to 1,000 annually the following year. It's targeting pricing below $75,000. The humanoid sector is also heating up in Europe. The French startup UMA just unveiled its flagship robot, named Northstar, just 9 months after its founding. Paris-based UMA, which stands for Universal Mechanical Assistant, is led by Remy Caden, who served as a scientist for Tesla's Optimus program until 2024, when he founded the open-source Le Robot platform at Hugging Face. He launched the startup in late 2025 with Le Robot co-founder Simon Alibert, former Google DeepMind researcher Pierre Sermonet, and Rob Knight, a veteran humanoid robot designer from the UK. Backed by $40 million in seed funding, they're developing the lightweight humanoid for tasks in warehouses, factories, and eventually households. During his keynote presentation at Machina in Paris, Caden said, UMA's AI controls robots directly from what they see through its self-developed world model. He also emphasized that the AI learns in real time and adapts through trial and error, similar to how humans learn physical tasks. The startup is targeting first pilots in Europe later in 2026 with a robots-as-a-service pricing model. Meanwhile, in China, the consumer electronics and automotive giant Xiaomi is reporting rapid progress integrating its industrial humanoids in its manufacturing operations. The company has been deploying and training its bipedal and wheeled versions of its Cyber 1 robot at its Beijing EV plant that can reportedly build a car every 76 seconds. According to Xiaomi, the robots have improved their success rate in self-tapping screw and nut installation from 90 to 98% since the beginning of 2026. They're taking on newer tasks like sorting center console side panels and folding material and returnable transport boxes. Their reported success rate at those tasks is around 90%. The wheeled robots appear more stable and efficient for tasks like panel sorting, while the legged robots have issues like mild jittering when stopping. Xiaomi says the robots have limitations with dexterity that are being worked on. The robots run on the manufacturer's self-developed Xiaomi Robotics Vision Language Action Model. The second-generation Cyber 1's 5-fingered hands have full-palm tactile sensing with a bio-inspired cooling system. They use liquid and evaporation to remove heat from the tightly packed motors during long stretches of work. The Beijing-based company first introduced the Cyber 1 in August 2022, less than a year after it officially entered the electric vehicle sector, and a month before Tesla revealed its first working Optimus prototype. Xiaomi says it's validating the robots internally before commercializing them. Elsewhere in China, the fast-rising startup Deep Robotics is developing what could be the world's toughest humanoid robot as it heads toward an IPO alongside its nearby competitor Unitree. For full details on what it's planning, check the related video.